Galilee. This is Mount Gilboa, El Monte Gilboa. The Old Testament tells us about King Saul when he died with his son Jonathan, so they died on Mount Gilboa. El rey Saúl, cuando él murió con su hijo Jonathan, ellos murieron en el Monte Gilboa. Adelante tenemos la Galilea con la ciudad de Nazaret. So straight ahead we have the Galilee with the city of Nazareth. And can you see on the left side Mount Carmel? A la izquierda el Monte Carmelo con la ciudad de Haifa with the city of. They're waiting for us here in a small hotel, and then we arrive to Nazareth and they will tell you the story. Aquí vamos a recoger 5 pasajeros que nos esperan en un hotel aquí. Y después voy a contar toda la historia de Nazaret. We are going to see also Capernaum, the town of Jesus, and we're going to stop for lunch on the Sea of Galilee. And after lunch we are going to see the Jordan River. So this is our program of today. Holy Family, Joseph, Mary and Jesus. And there in Nazareth, Jesus spent his youth. But things that Jesus wanted to say, nobody in Nazareth wanted to listen to him. And that's why later Jesus left Nazareth and they went to the big town. Capernaum was the big town. 5,000 people were living there, and there he could explain his ideas. Now in Nazareth we are going to visit the Church of the Annunciation, where tradition says that it was the house of Mary, and the angel told Mary, you are going to have a child, his name will be Emmanuel. Un momento voy a traducir en ese Church of the Transfiguración. Cuenta del milagro de la transfiguración cuando Jesús salió de la Galilea a Jerusalén. El all the battle took place at Mount Tabor. El Antiguo Testamento nos cuenta del profeta Deborah cuando ella combatió contra los cananeos. Toda la batalla ocurrió en el Monte Tabor. So you can see that we are leaving the valley and we'll start going up on the mountains. Soy Nazaret, es una ciudad. To this big city, so crowded, you can see so many cars, but later we are going to see the biblical view of the Galilee. Bienvenidos a Nazaret. Espero que no están decepcionados, porque hay gente que ha imaginado tal vez toda la vida en Nazaret, un pueblo pequeño sobre las montañas con cabras, ovejas, y cuando vienen a esta ciudad tan grande, tantos coches, pero después vamos a ver la vista bíblica de la Galilea. So what we are going to do right now, first we are going to do a short stop, about 20 minutes usually takes, to use the toilets. If you want, you have their drinks. If you want, you have some souvenirs. Some of them are very unique, you can find only there. So you can, if you need something, so you can find an idea there. And then together we are going to the church.
A few years ago, the Muslims wanted to build in this square a mosque. And the mosque should be bigger than the church that we are going to visit right now. There was a time that you couldn't see this well, because behind a big wall, and they were praying inside like it's a normal mosque. And the Israeli government didn't want to say not to be against the Christian wall, or even worse, against the Muslim wall. But later Israel decided to stop it, and no mosque, but you can see what it's doing. This is their government. Hoy vamos a ver, ¿quién habla español? ¿Usted? Hoy vamos a visitar
الله يخلي بلادنا ان شاء الله وانتم بالحج ان شاء الله.
في بصمتي حلقة اليوم بعنوان
Where are you at?
Please, lady, cover your shoulders, please.
Oh, I forgot.
Thank you.
Очищение. Евреи пользуются такими бассейнами маленькими. Очень важная вещь. Он сам взял, он взял из
And the angel told Mary, you are going to have a child, his name will be Emmanuel. And Emmanuel is coming from the two Hebrew words, God is with us. Now this is time of war, trouble. When the Messiah will come, God will be with us and we will have peace. So you can see the angel and you can see Mary. Below them, we have the four evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Number 4 is important in Christianity and represents the 4 elements of the world. Can you see the pink line where it's written there, Angelus Domini? You can see the stars. Stars represents the sky, air. Below, where it's written there, Verbum Caro, you can see the fire. You can see the fish, it means water, and the birds, it means earth. 4 elements of the world. The church was built by an Israeli company, Solel Boneh. It's the same company that built the highways that we have in Israel. The first church was built in the Byzantine period. It was destroyed by the Persians and rebuilt by the Muslims. And until 1967, the pilgrims that came to the Holy Land, they didn't have any center to pray. So the Israeli government decided to give the money and to build a church with 2 floors. The first floor, this is what tradition says that it was the house of Mary. And then we are going to see the ruins of the first church. And the second floor, this is the basilica that is dedicated to the first church. And you can look around us. You can see how the world see Mary. Every country through its own eyes. If you want to take a few minutes to look for your Mary, I wait for you here. If you don't find it here, probably you will find it there. Are you taping? See the birth of Jesus. Below you can see the Holy Family escape to Egypt. Jesus is walking with his father in the carpenter shop. To the right you can see the baptism. Jesus with his disciples in the Sea of Galilee, and you can see the crucifixion. On the right side of the door you can see figures from the New Testament like Peter, Jacob, Matthew. And from on the left side, you can see figures from the Old Testament, like Adam, Abraham, Moses, and Elias. The other door, you can see it later, scenes from the book of Genesis. You can see Adam and Eve in paradise. You can see Cain and Abel and the sacrifice of Isaac. When we'll be in the church, you are going to see the remains, or you are going to see the grotto. The grotto, this is where tradition says that it was the house of Mary. And then you are going to see the remains of the first church. I'm not allowed to speak inside, but don't forget to look up. And you're going to see that the dome of the church looks like a flower, le fleur de lis. This is the lily. In art, this is one of the symbols of Mary. So we are going down to the grotto, and then together we are going to the second floor and we'll continue the explanation. And I don't see Rocos. A moment, the questions. Have below us. And below us, we have Nazareth from 2,000 years ago. It means that from the house of God to the next church that we are going to see right now, the house of Joseph, a little bit of the surrounding, this was Nazareth. A small village, and only 200 people were living in this village. Now we can understand why Jesus couldn't spend his life here, because a big fashion is going out in a big city, Rome, in Milan, not in a small village like Tel Aviv. To create something here, we had to do it in a big town. And what was the big town? Everything is coming from the Jewish religion. Jesus was born as a Jew. And according to the Jewish religion, every woman, once a month, after a period of time, she has to go to a ritual bath to get baptized there. This is the only way of purification. And only then she's pure, she's clean, she can have relations with her husband. According to the Jewish religion, every woman has to do it, but only the very ultra-Orthodox women, they keep this. Also men are going to a ritual bath every Friday afternoon, before Shabbat, before the sunset, they are going to a ritual bath. And again, they're only the ultra-Orthodox men, usually with the black clothes, they are going to a ritual bath. Ritual bath has a special size and 7 steps going down. 7 days of creation, and that's why 7. We do everything 7 in the Jewish religion. And the water has to be running water. So in the whole world, if you have a Jewish community, and there you don't have a ritual bath, people can go to a river or to a sea. Jesus was baptized in the Jordan River. In the church, where we are going to be right now, we are going to see a crypt. In the crypt, there is a ritual bath, and we know it according to the size and the 7 steps. So it's a proof that it was a Jewish house, and tradition says that it was the house of Joseph. So let's go.
Choć to jest kraj, który generalnie jest krajem łacińskim, to wszyscy wykształceni ludzie mówili i wszystkie dokumenty pisane były tylko po grecku. Tylko po grecku. W związku z tym, Pan Jezus jak z Piłatem rozmawiał, to rozmawiał po grecku i inaczej. W związku z tym teksty ewangeliczne są używane.
El mosaico que pueden ver aquí es después, es de la época bizantina. It is put after, in the Byzantine period. That means that the Jewish house became a Christian house. And the ritual bath became a pool to baptize some Christian babies. 2,000 years ago, people lived and worked in the same place. Today, being a lawyer, a doctor, these are the main professions. But 2,000 years ago, work in a carpenter shop, make sandals, being a fisherman, these were the main professions. And people usually used to walk and live in the same place. So if tradition says that here it was the house of Joseph, so tradition says that it was the carpenter shop. Actually, not a lot of furnitures were found from this period. The few that were found are stone tables, stone chairs. So usually a carpenter shop is not what we have in mind. Now, we think that the gospel is supposed to hold I told you that water in a ritual bath has to be running water. So if you don't have a river or a sea, how do you get the water? On the way out, you are going to see a water system. Water in Nazareth was from the rain. And here you can see in the ritual bath there is a treasure hole. So water from the water system went out from the treasure hole. It doesn't have to be 100% running water. A few portions, we don't know exactly how much. But if you have a few portions of running water, so it is kosher. That's how they solve the problem. Okay?
This city topography is higher than the city that we visited. Elite en hebreo más alto. Esta ciudad topográfica es más alta que la ciudad que nosotros visitamos. And otra ciudad, otro alcalde. So it's a different city, different mayor. Figuración, Valley and Valle de Israel.
Yeah. Keep the parasailing down to the
That we have around us. They look like wave after wave of hill after hill. Wave in Hebrew, we say Gal. So Gal after Gal, Galilee. There is the Upper Galilee and the Lower Galilee. In the Upper Galilee, we have high mountains, around 800 meters above sea level, sometimes more. And in the Lower Galilee, we have a mountain and a valley. Mountain and a valley, the height more or less 500 meters above sea level. All day, we are going to be in the Lower Galilee. Right now, we are on the mountain, but very soon, we are going to be in the valley. This is turned water in Cana de la Galilea. Y aquí tuvimos el primer milagro. Y aquí Jesús transformó agua en vino. So it was a wedding, and during the wedding, wine runs out. So Jesus took the water and turned it into wine. But usually you drink the best wine at the beginning of the evening. This time everybody knew to say that it was the best wine. So 5 churches were built in, and all of them are dedicated to the first miracle. Era una boda, y durante la boda el vino que están dedicadas al primer milagro. Going to the church of Gethsemane in Jerusalem. There you are going to see olive trees that are more than 500 years old. An olive tree, one ear gives you a lot of fruits. One ear, almost nothing. Then another ear, a lot of fruits. Another ear, almost nothing. And the years when we don't have a lot of fruits, price of olive oil will be very expensive. Time of harvest, the olives will be in October, November. Black olives or green olives, it's the same tree. First they are green, and after a few weeks they become purple. Entonces es muy fácil conocer los olivos. El color es verde plateado, es el símbolo de la... Later we are going to be even lower, después vamos a bajar más. There's heard about the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus walked on the water, where he fed 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves. But the Sea of Galilee is very important to Israel, because water that you drink in Israel, you drink it from the Sea of Galilee. Not everything, but 1/3. In Israel, we have Mount Hermon. Later I'm going to show you the map. On Mount Hermon, we have snow. With this snow, we have water in 3 rivers, Dan, Banyas, and Hatzbani. The 3 rivers provide water to the Jordan River, and the Jordan River provides water to the Sea of Galilee. But around the Sea of Galilee we have springs, underground springs with salt water. We don't want that salt water into the Sea of Galilee. And that's why around the Sea of Galilee there is a canal that takes only salt water before they enter to the Sea of Galilee, south to the Jordan River, and from the Jordan River to the Dead Sea. That means that there are two Jordan rivers. Jordan River that enters to the Sea of Galilee. If it's the Sea of Galilee, it has sweet water. And the Jordan River that leaves the Sea of Galilee, it has sweet and salt water together. Jordan in Hebrew means goes down, because the river goes down from Sea of Galilee, 210 meters below sea level, to the Dead Sea, 400 meters below sea level. Sea of Galilee is a biblical name. In Hebrew, we call it Kinneret. There are books that you can find the name, the Lake of Tiberias, because actually we are talking about a lake. This is the lowest sweetwater lake that we have in the world, and in a short time we are going to be. Entonces bajamos ahora 210 metros bajo del nivel del mar. Y es verdad que todo el mundo conoce el mar de la Galilea. donde Jesús caminó sobre el agua, donde él alimentó 5,000 personas con 2 peces y 5 panes. The lake, the Golan Heights. Later we'll talk about it. It was Syria till 1967, and now it's Israel. Todas las montañas que podemos ver que están atrás del lago son los altos del Golán. Era Siria hasta la guerra de los 6 días, ahora es Israel. The city that is below us is Tiberias. The holy city of Hebron. There we have the Machpelah cave, where Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah are buried, and the holy city of Tiberias. Why Tiberias? Until the 4th century, all the law that were received by Moses, it was an oral law, and I mean the interpretations. Only in the 4th century, we wrote all this law in one book called Talmud. The book was written here in Tiberias. A lot of rabbis were living here. Some of them are buried in the city. Everything started in the year of 1880 by King Herod Antipas, that was the son of King Herod the Great. And he built the city and he called it after the Caesar Tiberius. Today most of the people here, they live from the tourism, with a lot of hotels, restaurants, water parks, beaches, in summertime, weekends, holidays. A lot of people are coming here into the old area. Estamos en Tiberiades. En Israel tenemos 4 ciudades sagradas. La ciudad sagrada de Jerusalén, la ciudad sagrada de Safed, que es una ciudad mística, el centro de la Syria, and Africa. And along this Syrian-African rift, and by the way, it's including the Dead Sea. Okay, the Dead Sea, Arava, the Ahula Valley in the north. So along this Syrian-African rift, we have a lot of thermal water. And the Romans like to build their cities where we have water, thermal water. That's why, one of the reasons why they built this city. El Mar de la Galilea es una parte del valle más deep. Mar de la Galilea, 22 kilómetros de largo, 11 kilómetros de ancho y 40 metros profundo. Lunch it's going to be on the water, so you will have also a chance later to touch the water también el agua. Around the Sea of Galilee, by the way, the lands are very fertile. Most of the people here, they live from agriculture and tourism. You can see a lot of olive trees, oranges, the mango, avocado, a lot of bananas, palm trees. Las tierras aquí son muy fértiles. Casi todos aquí viven del turismo y de la agricultura. Aquí podemos ver muchos olivos, el mango, avocado, palmeras, bananas. Blanco. Below we have the canal that takes only the salt water before they enter to the Sea of Galilee, south to the Jordan River, and from the Jordan River to the Dead Sea. Donde tenemos este camino blanco, abajo tenemos el canal que toma solo el agua salada antes de entrar al Mar de la Galilea, afuera al río Jordán y del río Jordán al Mar Muerto. You can see the bananas. Banana, if it was the boat of Jesus, but it's the boat from the time of Jesus. No lejos de aquí tenemos Kibbutz Gelosar. En este kibbutz hay un museo. En este museo hay un barco que los arqueólogos encontraron en el Mar de la Galilea y el barco tiene 2000 años. That pump the water from the Sea of Galilee 210 meters up and then with gravity all over the country. Here begins the water national carrier. It's like a national aqueduct. Aquí tenemos un sistema de canales que toman el agua del mar de la Galilea 210 metros arriba y después con la gravitación a todo el país. Aquí empieza el acueducto nacional. By the way, during the last years we use also the desalination. We desalinate water from the Mediterranean. We have also the aquifer. Durante los últimos años nosotros utilizamos la desalinación del mar del Mediterráneo. También tenemos el aquifer. Mount of Beatitude. And this is where Jesus chose for the first time his 12 disciples. Ahí Jesús eligió por la primera vez los 12 discípulos. This is what the tradition says that Jesus said, if somebody eats you, don't eat back, turn the other cheek. Only the poor people will enter to paradise. 8 blessings were told by him, and that's why an octagonal church was built on the top by the Italian architect Antonio Bertolucci. Entonces aquí Jesús dijo que solo los pobres van a entrar en paraíso. 8 bendiciones fueron hechas por él y por él.
But it is built on ruins of a Byzantine church. And the black stone that you're going to see in the church, it's from the first church. But then we have a chance to see how the first churches were built, what they look like. So this is the atrium. The atrium, the courtyard. In the original churches, in the atrium, we used to have a small water system. And then we have the narthex. Narthex, where we are standing right now. Why do we have the narthex? Because until the 5th century, not all the people were baptized. Only the people that were baptized could enter to the church and pray. If not, when the Mass began, they closed the doors. Those who were not baptized had to wait outside. You hear voices, you smell things, but you don't know what is going on inside. If you're curious and you want to know what is going on, you have to get baptized. So the church is built on the ruins of the Byzantine church, but what is common to the two churches, this is the altar. And tradition says that on this altar, on the rock, you're going to see a rock under the altar, and tradition says that on this rock, the miracle happened, and Jesus fed 5,000 people with 2 fish and the 5 loaves. Un momento voy a traducir todo en español.
He talked to his disciples. They didn't recognize that it was Jesus, so he helped them fishing. The net was full with fish, and then they recognized that it was Jesus, and he gave the primacy of the church to San Peter. Aquí Jesús habló a sus discípulos. No conocían que era Jesús. Querían pescar, no podían pescar. Y él ayudó a los discípulos a pescar. Podían pescar y después conocían que era Jesús. Y aquí él entregó la primacía de la iglesia a San Pedro.
Pomegranates, dates, olive figs. So here you can see some grapes. You can see pomegranates. These are Jewish symbols. Here we have the Star of David. Here it's only for the decoration. La estrella de David, pero aquí solo para decoración. You can see it is on wheels. Pueden ver sobre ruedas. And you have a door to open and to put the books of the Torah inside. Hay una puerta para stone. The limestone, the white stone, it is at least 200 years after Jesus. The Vatican in the 19th century came to this area. And the Vatican wanted to buy that building and a little bit of the surrounding. Because the Vatican believed that that was the synagogue where Jesus preached. Today we know that that synagogue is at least 200 years after Jesus. But maybe below we have the other synagogue. How the city was built. First we have the port. Most of the people were fishermen. A little bit later, we have the and he helped all of them. And if he was tired, he could take a boat and go to the other side of the lake. We can ask, by the way, why Capernaum and not another city? If you remember this morning, we were talking about the main road that arrived from Egypt to Mesopotamia. In Latin, we call it the Via Maris. So Capernaum was built on this main road. Nazareth not, a small village on the mountains. So if you want to create something new, to explain your ideas, you are going to do it in a big town and not in a small village. So we are going to see now this. It's easier to find a community that all of them want to pray. Only in the Galilee, archaeologists found two types of synagogues. The first type of the synagogue was that the main door was facing to Jerusalem. And that means that we have two main problems. Why? Just imagine that Jerusalem is over there. This is the main door. All the people are sitting in the synagogue praying, and suddenly somebody comes to the synagogue a little bit late. He disturbs the people to pray. The second problem was, where was the Holy Ark? How can you enter to the synagogue and give you back to the Holy Ark? If you've been in the Western Wall, you probably have seen that the Western Wall people are going backwards. Why? They don't want to give the back to the Holy Ark. So just imagine that Jerusalem is there. This is the main door, and the Holy Ark is standing on the wall that is facing to Jerusalem. How can you enter to the synagogue and give your back to the Holy Ark? So remember the stone that I showed you? The Holy Ark on wheels? Archaeologists believe that the Holy Ark was all the time in the corner of the synagogue. Only when all the people gathered inside, they moved it, because it was heavy on the wheels, they moved it to the center. They were praying, then they moved it back to the corner. People left the synagogue and nobody gave his back to the Holy Ark. Later, they changed the entrance. So now I'm talking about the second type of the synagogue. The entrance was on the other side. If you come a little bit late, you don't disturb the people. And when you enter, facing to Jerusalem. So these two types of synagogues we are going to see right now. So a few words in Spanish and then enjoy the shade, and in a moment we will all enter inside. Entonces, tenemos three steps up. This is different period. Tres escaleras arriba es otra época. Central siempre estaba decorada. Jerusalem is this is the market, the living room, so all his life was here. Okay? The main door of the synagogue was all the time decorated. Jerusalem is in the south. This is the main entrance, and we are talking about the entrance from the first time. Can you see the palm trees? So it's a symbol for dates. So this is also a Jewish symbol. We will enter inside, I will explain you one more thing, and then I will give you time for photos. Maybe this is like the prophecy of Jesus, that the Capernaum will be destroyed. If you are going to read the Bible, the name Jerusalem is mentioned quite a lot. After the name Jerusalem, the name of Capernaum. Si vas a leer la Biblia, el nombre de Jerusalén está mencionado nomás. Después del nombre de Jerusalén, el nombre empieza a mencionar. Y son los únicos restos de la primera sinagoga. Tal vez es como la profecía de Jesús, que la ciudad se va a destruir. I would like to explain you something about the architecture. So, women and men are not praying together. By the way, you are lucky that we are the only group here. Usually it's very difficult to take photos when you are alone here. And women and men are not praying together. We don't know how everything started or where it started. So about this synagogue, we have two versions. One version says that the women were together with the men. One version says that the women were separated. If the women were separated, where was the women gallery? So one version says the second floor, another version says the other room. But we don't have any doubt that this synagogue had two floors. And all these big columns is to support the second floor. Here you can see one line of column. Here we can see another line of column. When you put together two columns, can you see the shape that we have? It's heart. You can see the corner of the heart there. So it's here, the other room, the other corner, and actually the all over ancient synagogues that we have in the Galilee. So when you see this column with the shape of heart, you know that this is a synagogue. And doesn't have any meaning, only for decoration. Okay. I wait for you near the shape. Near the church was and below later you can take a look, remains of the octagonal church. Why octagonal church? The 8 blessings of Mount Everett. So the octagonal church is built where tradition says that it was the house of Peter. The house you cannot see. And this modern church, like the Church of the Annunciation, that from here you can look down and see where was the house. The red dome is the Orthodox Church of Capernaum. Okay, the town is here, the Orthodox Church is there, and the Catholic monastery is the entrance, Franciscan. I would like to see the fish. This is the St. Peter fish where we are going to have lunch today. By the way, why is St. Peter fish? Because usually say that because St. Peter was a fisherman. It's true, but it's not the only one that was fisherman. They all were fishermen, right? So if you remember the story, they had to pay the tax for the governor. And they came to Jesus, how can we pay? We don't have the money. So St. Peter opened the mouth of the fish. In the mouth of the fish he found a coin. And that's why we call it the St. Peter fish, because Peter found the coin. St. Peter was the first fisherman, the first pope. Okay? It was the first. Let's go. And when we land,
Oh, this way.
You know that when my daughter this year, she's 10, they studied in a school and about children of Israel when they entered to the promised land, so they crossed the Jordan River. And if you remember the story, it's not happened here, it's near Jericho South, but there was a miracle that the water stopped and the children of Israel went. And I took her to see the place. So she was disappointed and said, no matter that they crossed it, don't need a miracle because it's all metal. Mi hija tiene 10 años. Este año ellos estudiaron como el pueblo de Israel fue hecho de los dátiles. You know that a palm tree needs a lot of water and heat. And in Israel they try to plant the palm trees in a few places. If it wasn't warm enough, we had a tree, but we didn't have any fruits. La palmera para tener dátiles necesita mucho agua y también el calor. Y en Israel plantaron palmeras en todo el país, pero solo en lugares que son hace tantos cientos de todos los dátiles en el mundo, 67. And here you can see a lot of settlements. Those who were living here until 1967, they couldn't have normal life. Because you can see, the Syrians were up on the mountains, attacking the Jewish settlements down. And when the Six Day War broke out in June 1967, Israel was threatened by Jordan, by Egypt and by Syria. After a lot of hesitations, Israel decided to attack also Syria, and not only defend herself. In 2 days, Israel conquered the Golan Heights. It's a huge plateau. There we have kibbutzim, moshavim, the city of Katzerim is over there. Mineral water, this water is coming from the Golan Heights. A winery, very good wine is coming from the Golan Heights. Dairy stuff that you can find in the supermarkets all over the country, they are from the Golan Heights. Ancient synagogues, fortresses. Now there is no negotiation. But there was a time that Israel talked to Syria. And Syria said all the time, if Israel wants peace, before we start talking, we want back all the territory. And that means that the border between Israel and Syria will be again this road that we are driving right now. We saw what happened 10 years ago when we gave back part of the Gaza Strip to the Palestinians. And instead of having normal life and peace, the terrorists are there. From Gaza they attack the Jewish settlements with rockets, with missiles. So Israel is afraid that the same is going to be here if we are going to give back all the Golanites. The Hezbollah, and you know that everything is controlled by Iran, is going to be here. And now we have a new player in the game, the Islamic State. So Israel is afraid that this is what it's going to be. Los Altos del Golán a la izquierda, guerra siria hasta la guerra de los árboles, porque árbol da frutas durante toda la vida. Aquí da frutas of chocolate and charoset, if you know what is it. So it's very nice. You will try it. It's free. You don't have to. It's not far away from Jericho. It's a military area. And to be there, you need a permission from the army. So here, the middle point of the Jordan River and the Sea of Galilee, people like to be blessed in this water. If you want, you can put your feet in the water. You can fill a plastic bottle with water. If you don't have it, you have a kiosk you can buy there. And that's possible to do the baptism the whole body. For that, you need a tunica, white tunica, that if you don't have with you, you can buy white. We're going to be here until 4:05. So.
I can see people getting baptized. I can see people getting baptized.
Oh, yes. We went to the north. Here on road number 2, this is the Jezreel Valley where we have Armageddon. Then we went to Nazareth. After Nazareth, through Cana of the Galilee, we went to the east. This is Tiberias. Then along the road, this is Capernaum, Capra. This is where we had our lunch. And now we took this way. Okay, so we are here. Okay. Here we have Mount Hermon with the snow. With this snow we have water in 3 rivers. The 3 rivers provide water to the Jordan River. This is the Jordan that has the sweet water. And we are here where it's going outside with the salt water. So if you want, you can go down to the water. If you need toilets, you have toilets. From here we have 2 hours driving to Tel Aviv. If you want a kiosk,
este bendito líder espiritual, este profeta, que ni siquiera sabía recibir, y él le llevaba regalos.
okay, go ahead.
Sobre la montaña. Las montañas que están atrás es Jordania. So until 1967, the 3 borders were meeting, Jordan, Syria and Israel. Right now only Israel and Syria. Israel and Jordan, sorry. Hasta la guerra de los 6 días, en 67, las 3 fronteras se encontraron aquí. De Jordania, de Israel y de Siria.
It's a good story. It's like
To see below us the valley, the Yavniel Valley. You can see another mountain. Below it's the Sea of Galilee, and in the distance the Golanites. Nosotros hablamos antes que Galilea son olas de montañas y así tenemos el mejor ejemplo. Aquí estamos sobre la montaña, el valle, otra montaña, abajo tenemos el mar de la Galilea y los altos del Golán. In winter time everything is green here, so it's completely different. En invierno todo es verde aquí con muchos flores también.